X96, I'm Todd Newcomb. Coming up next, we're going to do Todd's iPod. Well, really, it's just going to be a live version of Todd's iPod because I've got the guys from Apocalypse Radio in the studio. We'll find out about what they've been up to, what this whole project is about, and they'll tell you about their concert that's coming up as well. That's all coming up next here at X96.
Apple hasn't sued us yet for the name Todd's iPod.
The hell he didn't.
So please enjoy another selection from Todd's iPod on X96 until they do.
No one would make that connection.
And Todd's iPod is brought to you by Verizon. The best gifts need the best networks. Come to Verizon for great gifts like the sleek BlackBerry Curve 3G. Shop early and save. Rule the air, Verizon. And what we're about to do on Todd's iPod isn't on Todd's iPod yet, but we are going to record it, and I plan to put it there. But I've got the guys from Apocalypse Radio in the studio. How's it going?
Hi, Todd.
Hello.
Good. Yeah. Props on how you read that thing just then, by the way.
I'm a broadcaster.
That would take me like a minute and a half to get through that, and I'd be repeating words and doing it backward. And
I'm a broadcast professional.
Yeah. I'll say, there's a reason you do this.
That's right. By God. So let's tell people who we got, because Apocalypse Radio, a lot of people probably don't know that much about you, but we've got Brandon Steinekert, who started to use, was the original drummer, and you're the drummer for Rancid.
That's right.
Little punk rock band called Rancid that I'm sure people know.
From the West Coast, known as Rancid.
And then Brian Patch is with you, and you were with Broke for a while, or still are, or what's going on?
I played with Broke for quite a few years when we did the whole Maverick Records and touring and all the big stuff.
And now, is this a project that you started working together even before those bands kind of came about?
Yeah, it was back in 2001, right when I was starting to use. Brian was writing these punk rock songs that were just rad, and we were recording them on an 8-track, and it was the same time I was recording the used songs on an 8-track and kind of shopping that, and that was my thing.
Yeah.
But Brian was just, cranking out these rad punk rock songs, but then he was like, why don't you sing on these, because I don't like my voice.
Yeah, I just wasn't happy. I was sitting in a little teeny closet trying to sing my guts out and not really pulling it off, and Brandon had a little bit of a better voice than me, so we kind of split duties, and he did a lot of the vocals and I'd do a lot of the music, and we just started working on it that way.
And how much of that got done, or how many, did you do any shows, or really record much?
Yeah, there was like maybe 10 shows, and we were kind of like Spinal Tap, where like we had a different lineup every show pretty much, you know, like it was like we'd grab friends and relatives and whoever to play drums and to play bass for us live, and because really it was just Brian and I and an 8-track, and we ended up making a 10 or 12 song album that was just on this 8-track, and again it was the same exact time I did the first used album.
Yeah, we were making
only
them
like
at the same time.
Did it, back and forth. Like I'd finish working with those guys on the 8-track, and then we'd work on Apocalypse Radio, and that was every day, But then we were playing a handful of shows. We even did a couple with the used when we were just doing little stuff down in Utah County. But then, when obviously we hooked up with John Feldman, and the first 2.5 years of the used, I think our longest break at home was 10 days or something.
Yeah, you guys were on the road just forever.
We just disappeared, and it just really made this impossible to keep doing. We tried in a little break and did another show, but until now, it was just like I've had a lot of time off the last year, and it's been great because I'm in a band that's flexible. Our schedule's flexible, Matt Freeman's doing Devil's Brigade right now and has been touring that record he did, so it's given me a lot of free time. And I don't know, I guess this time last year, Brian and I started talking about, like, hey, maybe we should write some more songs just for fun. And like,
we didn't even really think we were going to do another record. We just wanted to start writing some songs and playing together again, just for the joy of it, really.
Yeah, because we've been doing it, like, for me, I'm going on like 10 or 11 years now, I guess, of like playing professionally. And so it's just like, well, in my free time, I usually find other extracurricular activities, And I was like, I want to just make music, I don't want to do it necessarily with any intention. I just want to write and play and do it with my friends. And not that I'm not doing that now with my band, but it's like just something with nothing but just for the hell of it in my basement, and I'm fortunate enough I have Unknown Studios in my basement where I do producing and stuff, so
sweet.
We just started, we actually went old school with it and busted out the 8-track again.
Started doing everything.
We wrote the whole record and I guess demoed it, you would say, like that.
Yeah.
And then we liked it, and I was like, let's record this proper. And so Brian and I played every instrument on the whole record, and we sang everything. We did like everything, so it's kind of fun. I engineered and recorded the whole thing, produced it, we funded it, we put it out ourselves, everything.
That's very good. We'll talk about where you can get a copy of it and how this is going to work live, because I've got some serious questions when you got a duo, how we're going to do this thing live. We'll get to that, but you got it. You got your buddy on bass. What's your name over there? I forget your name.
We got Drew Hamnet over here.
Hey,
on
Drew,
the
what's
bass.
up?
Hey, how's it going?
So, what we're doing, by the way, I mean, the album, and I've had it for a couple of weeks. It just rocks. It's just loud as hell. We're gonna do it acoustic, and it'll sound good, I think.
Cool.
Because we got the mandolin.
That'd be cool.
We got the mandolin. I mean, what more do you need
Can't go
for
wrong.
a punk rock rendition of a song than a mandolin?
So let's do it. One of the tracks. What do you want to play first?
We're gonna play a little bit of a bluegrass version of one of the songs, and this version we're calling "God Help the Outcasts."
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's Apocalypse Radio on X96.
Well, I'll make enemies of my heroes. My name fills most with hate. I'm sure that when I'm dead, you'll all be dancing on my grave. I've been made a demon. I've been made a saint. Left outside the circle for the simple things I say. Always keep the light ahead, 'cause nothing ever lasts. Listen to the people cry, God help the outcast. You can rub me up and burn me, wish me down to hell. Hold my tongue and smile and bid this world farewell. I never trusted no one trusted me. I've lived with this heartache while my soul longed to be free. Singing, always keep the light ahead, 'cause nothing ever lasts. Listen to the people cry, God help the outcast. Hunted through the alleyways, I'm never going home. My tower stands like Babel as my spirit turns to stone. They're coming with their torches, they're here to break my bones. You can see the stars and you'll never die alone. Always keep the light ahead, 'cause nothing ever lasts. Listen to the people cry, God help the outcast. You can roll me up and burn me, wish me down to hell, drag you bastards with me, share my fiery cell. When I see the light above, my fortune will be cast. Leave you all behind me singing, God help the outcast.
There you go. I like that. Some live music here on X96, Apocalypse Radio. Now, the album, you guys did it in Brandon's basement, pretty much.
That's right.
We have a
Unknown Studios.
nice little studio down there.
Yep.
And you funded the album by yourself. You printed them by yourselves.
Yeah.
And there's no label involved. There's no management.
I mean, we could have gone that route, you know. Like, I have some friends at labels, and obviously relationship with Epitaph and Warner and Hellcat, obviously, but it really wasn't about that, you know. We just wanted to record some songs. We didn't even, honestly, our first intention, Brian and I talked about, was we'd record them all and then just burn CDRs for anybody that wanted one and hand them out.
See if anybody.
And then we're like,
wanted 'em.
we got done and we're like, you know, we kind of worked our asses off on this. So let's
something
maybe
a little more than CDRs.
So then, like, same thing. Like, I took a bunch of photographs. We ended up, like, I laid out the album artwork. We teamed up with a couple buddies, and we recruited a little help from people like Matt Freeman was kind enough to offer his bass skills and played on a song called "Rockin' the Dance Hall."
Yeah.
That was awesome. Drew Hamnet here, who plays in actually a Utah band called The Trademark that I like quite a bit.
Good band. I liked them too.
And so we've recruited him and playing bass with us lately. We told him not to speak, and we just broke that rule. Don't speak. Not till you shave the mustache.
You have to wait in the car now.
Yeah. Go to the car. We'll call you when we're doing another song. No, but so we recruited him, but we actually had him play bass on a song called "The End Is Here." And then other than that, like, a couple friends that happened to show up at the studio while we were recording, we'd be like, hey, do some claps for us.
Yeah.
Or like,
Some
say hey a few times. Like,
yeah.
But otherwise, like, yeah, we just knocked it out. I've been toying with engineering more and more at the studio, and before I just like to focus on producing with bands, but I ended up engineering the whole record, and it was kind of funny because I'd like, some of the songs I'd be home alone, and I just had to set a whole lot of pre-roll, and I'd hit record and run and climb on my drum set and like throw the headphones on and lay the drum track down, then run back in and stop it, and then lay down guitars, and like, it was interesting, certainly a lot of work for two people, but
and that gets to my next question. Okay, so your whole life is playing the drums. I mean, that's kind of your thing.
Yes.
And now you're like kind of up front playing the guitar and doing some vocals.
I try. Yes.
Now you got some buddies to come and help you with this show that's coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
Now who's going to play the drums for you?
See, that's the nice thing. I'm pretty picky because I'm not playing drums, and so like, as a professional drummer, I'm like, all right, now what do we do? But I'm very fortunate in the way that a lot of my best friends are also professional drummers, and one of my very close friends happens to be one of my favorite drummers, who is Adam Willard, and people know him probably currently from playing with Angels and Airwaves, Rocket from the Crypt, of course.
Yeah.
He did time with The Offspring, one of my favorite bands, Social Distortion, he played drums with for like 11 months. Yeah. So I mentioned the idea to him back when Angels and Airwaves played Salt Lake last time. We were hanging out, and I showed him some of the songs, and we were just joking. He's like, hey, if you ever need a drummer, hit me up. I'm like, I will. And then, like, sure enough, he was serious. And, like, I hit him up. I was like, hey, we might do a show. And he's like, rad, let's do it. And, like, we haven't rehearsed with him once.
Yeah.
But he knows the whole record probably better than we do. And he's flying in tomorrow. We're going to jam a couple times, and then we're going to play a show.
And you're not going to have to, like, be looking over your shoulder at the drummer. You're pretty confident.
That's the thing. Like, yeah, if there's one guy I trust to do this, like, it's Adam Willard, for sure. Like, I'm a huge fan of his. He's a great guy, We trust Drew a lot. He does a great job, So Brian and I, we can kind of rest easy knowing these guys will try to make us sound good.
Very good. Well, you guys